Okay, we are going to talk about, can you see it? Superlative adjectives. Superlative adjectives. Remember, we talked before about comparative adjectives. That's where it's 1 to 1. But with superlative adjectives, it's one of many. One of many, okay? Or one of at least 3, okay? So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's talk about this one. You see the sentence? It says, My grandfather is the oldest person in my family. My grandfather is the oldest person in my family. So look at this chart. Okay. So the grandfather is 98 years old. The grandmother is 92 years old. The mom is 51. The dad is 54. Uncle Dave is 61. Aunt Jane is 60. So out of all these people, grandfather is the oldest. Who's the youngest? Mom is the youngest. So out of all these people, right, that's the lowest number. This is the highest number. He's the oldest. She's the youngest person in the family. Okay? All right, here's another example. Okay? Hawaii is the most beautiful state in the United States. Hawaii is the most beautiful state in the United States. Now, of course, with a sentence like this, people might disagree, right? Some people might think, no, Hawaii is not the most beautiful place. Alaska is the most beautiful place. But yeah, this is somebody's opinion, okay? And here's what we mean by this, okay? If the person thinks, okay, Texas, state like Texas, it's a little bit surprising that those are shocked faces, okay, at the beauty, okay? So two shocked faces. Arizona is a little bit more beautiful than Texas. Not Phoenix. Phoenix is not so beautiful, but Sedona is really beautiful. Flagstaff's beautiful. Okay. California, parts of California are really beautiful. Okay. But look, Hawaii gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shocked faces. Okay. Alaska gets 4, maybe 4.5. Okay. New Mexico only gets 2. Okay. So you get the idea. This, in this person's opinion, or maybe from a survey of people that have visited every state in the United States, they all say Hawaii is the most beautiful. Now, real quick, just to show you again, if you saw the video on comparatives, remember old becomes older in the comparative, okay? And beautiful becomes more beautiful, right? So old is one syllable, so we add er, but beautiful is 3 syllables. It's a long word, so we add more in the comparative. But what we do for the superlative is we add est, est, or we add the most for those long adjectives. Okay? All right. Let's look at this one. Actually, we'll look at this one. Mondays are the busiest day of the week. Mondays are the busiest day of the week. So you have a word like busy, B-U-S-Y. Okay, we kill the Y, add I-E-S-T. Mondays are the busiest day of the week. They're busier, there's a comparative, than Tuesdays. They're busier than Wednesdays. Okay, so with that 1-to-1 comparative, we use IER, right? But if I'm saying one out of many, I'm going to use IEST. So for those Y endings, kill the Y, IEST. Okay. Same with a word like funny, crazy, happy. Okay. All right, look at this one. This is totally a matter of opinion. I think it's the correct opinion, though. Chocolate. Do you like chocolate? Some people don't like chocolate. I don't know what's wrong with them. Chocolate is the best flavor. It's better than vanilla. It's better than strawberry. So remember, better and the best, they all come from this word, good. Okay? So good in the comparative is better. Okay? Good in the superlative is the best. Okay? All right, look at this one over here. Johnny received the worst math test score of all the students in the class. Johnny received the worst math test score of all the students in the class. So here I made a list of all the students. There's Johnny, who got 12% on his math test. I don't think Johnny studied very much. Billy didn't do much better. He got 22%. Susan got 48%. Bob got 52%. Kevin got 19%. Sam got 72%, and Steve got 41%. So out of all of these, Johnny's score was bad, worse, the worst. Bad, worse, the worst. Okay, so remember, with a word like bad, when we compare one to another, we use worse. We saw this before, worse. Okay, but when we use the superlative form, use the worst. The worst. Okay, who has the best score out of everyone? That looks like Sam with 72%, which is not great, but it's a lot better than 12%. Okay, so I want to review this chart. Now, if you saw the comparative video before, we focused on this part, but here we're going to focus on the superlative list. Okay, and this is a chart I often use, or a symbol I often use for superlatives. Do you see this big X and all these other little X's? Okay, so we can say that out of the many, this one is the biggest. Maybe it's the best. Maybe it's the most beautiful, right? So out of the many, there's one. Okay, that's how we think for the superlatives. Okay, so a word like old, an adjective like old, becomes the oldest. The oldest. Who is the oldest student in your class? Okay, a word like wise becomes the wisest. Now, you might not know that word wise. A wise person is someone who makes good choices, makes good decisions. Who is the wisest member of your family? Okay, sometimes it's the oldest person, but not always. There's some old people that are not wise. Okay, famous becomes the most famous. Who is the most famous actor or actress from your country? The most famous. Okay, clever. Clever is like smart. Okay, clever becomes the cleverest or the most clever. Okay. Okay, so you have a choice on this one. Okay. Busy, like we saw before, the busiest. So I think we said Mondays are the busiest days of the week. Who is the busiest member of your family? Maybe you have a father or a mother who works 2 or 3 jobs, right? That's a busy family member. Okay, important, the most important. Important becomes the most important. So remember, for those long adjectives, just like what we saw with beautiful, with those long adjectives, we use the most. Okay, good becomes the best. Bad becomes the worst. Okay, slowly is an adverb, so we're going to use the most slowly. Who drives the most slowly in your family? Okay, well is just like good, right? But when we're describing how someone does something, right? How do you speak English? Well, you speak English well, I hope. Okay, or you will speak English well. Okay, that becomes the best. So who speaks English the best in your class? Okay, far becomes the farthest or the furthest. Okay, so who who in your class came the farthest away, right? Or who came from the farthest away, right? Or who drives or walks the furthest every day? So we can say farthest, we can say furthest. Either one is fine. Okay, keep learning about those superlatives. And I hope you have the best day ever. That was a superlative.